You're welcome back once again. My name is Jaya Olusegun. I'm calling you on HTML. So this is our second tutorial. On the first tutorial, I've introduced to you what HTML is, and we've set the page up. We've created a folder on our desktop called Hello, and we've made the page, created the page inside. So we continue from there to there by God's grace. Let me open the folder for you. That's Hello. And I showed us how to save HTML file. I showed you the wrong way and I showed you the right way. So let's open our example.html. It's okay. If you are just joining the tutorial, you can open a notepad. Open a notepad from your system. It's always installed alongside the operating system. Okay. Go to file on the notepad. Go to save as and save the file as example.html. Example.html. The file extension of HTML is .html or .htm, so you can use any one you like. Like I said, we are using .html for this class, so save it as .html. Then below it you will see save as type. Click on the drop down in front and save as all files. Don't save as text file. If you save as text file, it will not work as a web page. Are you getting me? So save it as all files. So then you are done. Then like I said, we first created a folder on our desktop, so that's where we'll be saving any page we are creating. So save that example.html inside any folder you've created. The one I've created is hello folder on my desktop, and this is where I have example. So now let me open the example. Okay, so there's nothing inside the example page. Now once we've done everything set, HTML means, like I said, hypertext markup language. In HTML we work with what we call tags. We work with the commands we use in HTML. They are called tags. Tags is a bracelet that is greater than, left, and less than, with a name inside. We call the name element. That's the tag name. This is what I'm saying. We deal with tag. It has coming. It has the less than. It has the greater than. Are you getting it? Then with a name inside. With a particular name inside. Let's call it a tag name. So this is tag name. So this is how we write a tag in HTML. Okay, and a tag in HTML is like a set. That is, most of the time always comes in two. That is, once you have it, you have the open, then you also close. Like this tag name now, once you open it, you can close. To close, we still have the we still have our less than, greater than. Somebody will tell me what's the difference between the two now. Yeah, you can tell me the difference between the first one and the second one. You know, the first one doesn't have the forward slash, whereas the last one, the second one, has what? The forward slash. So the one that doesn't have the forward slash is the opening tag, Why the one that has the forward slash is a closing tag. That is, once you close a tag, like I said, is in form of set. Once you open it, you also close. Okay, any tag you open and you close, we call them container tags. Container tags, they are tags that when you open, you also close. We have the other type, we call it empty tags. Empty tags, they are tags that when you open them, you don't close them. So now we have two types of tags: container tags, empty tags. When you open container tags, you need to close. When you have empty tags, you open, then you don't close. Okay, anything in between the opening of a tag and the closing of a tag is being affected by the tag. Anything you type in between the opening and the closing will be affected by the function of that particular tag. Are you getting me? So let's say inside this tag now, we write Jesus is Lord. Okay, whatsoever this tag name function is, it will affect the Jesus is Lord. So that's what we are saying. So that's how we write a tag. Okay, a tag, which can also be called element, it has what we call properties or attributes. A tag has properties. That means it can, when I say properties, that means it can be more than one. Properties or attributes. What do you mean by a property or an attribute? A property or an attribute of a tag is what describes a tag. Is what describes a tag. An attribute or a property is what describes a tag. Like now, for example, let me use you as an example. Okay, let me say myself. Okay, let's say I'm a tag or element. Let's say I'm a tag or element. I have things that are describing me. They are my attributes and properties, like my name. Before the tutorial, I told you my name is Jayo Bodushegun. That's what is this part of what is describing me. My age, my phone number, my address. They are my what? They are my attributes and what? And or properties. They are things that are described. If you call my phone number now, what will happen? My phone will ring. If you send email to my email address, what will happen? I will receive your mail in my email address. If I call your number, you receive, not another person. If you call the name Jayo Olusegun, who responds? I will be the one, not you. So things that are describing you, your house address is part, and many other things. So the same thing we have for tags or elements. Things that are describing them is what we call an attribute or what? Or a property. So, and how do we demonstrate it in the real life of a tag? The way we do it is after the tag name, you put a space, then you specify the name of that particular attribute or property. Let's say attribute 1. Okay, every attribute we have is always equal to a value. Like I said, I have a name. My name is equal to what? Jayo Olusegun. So now this one also will equal to a name. The name can either be in single quotes or double quotes, either of the two. Okay, let's say it equals to value 1. Value 1. Then we close the quotes. Are you getting it? Now let's say we want to specify another attribute. Like I said, attributes. So it can be 1, it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So the second one will be what? ATR2 equals what? Equals a value. So let's call this value 2. Then we close the quotes. Another space again. Please don't forget this. When you have a tag name, to specify an attribute for it or a property, you put a space, the name of the attribute is equal to what? A value inside what? Double or single quotes. Please don't forget that. To specify another attribute now, you also need to put what? A space. A space. A space. So don't just join everything together. Then you'll be seeing error on your page. Okay. So let's say till we have the nth term of our attribute, which is equal to what? Inside double or single quote, value n. That's the nth term. Okay. Now anytime you are using any particular tag or element, you only use any attributes that you want to use in that particular work or project you are doing. So it's not compulsory that, let's say now, an element or a tag has 100 attributes. Now you now need to specify all the 100. No, at times you may not even need to specify any one. It depends on what you are doing. That's what determines whether you specify one, you specify two, three, and so on, or you don't even specify any one at all. Are you getting me now? How someone is falling. Okay, let's go there. So that's how to write your tag name or elements. Tag name is the same thing as elements. Attribute is the same thing as what? As property. Then attribute equals what? Equals a value. Okay, so let's start. When you are starting an HTML document or project, there are basic tags that needs to be there. There are basic tags that needs to be there, and that's what we want to specify. The first one is HTML. This one is what opens up our page and describes our page. That is HTML. HTML, like I said, they are always in what? In sets. So we also close this HTML. HTML. Okay, you can remind me what HTML means again? Is what? Hypertext what? Markup language. Okay, so anything we want to do, as far as it is HTML, it's part of our document, must falls in between the opening of the HTML and the closing of the HTML. Like I told you that anything between the opening and the closing, it affects everything inside it. So that means everything will be writing inside this closing, the opening of the HTML and the closing will be affected by the HTML tag. You see, that is wonderful. So the next thing to specify again is to divide our HTML page into two. And we have two parts. We have the head parts and we have the body parts. Okay, the head part now, that's the first thing. The head is at the head side, so it will be the first thing to do. Just simply just writing normal English. Do you see? Who doesn't know head? We all know that now. So it's just normal English, nothing, no big deal. So once you just follow through, there is no big deal. It's just simple. Then we close the head. Remember we said they are always, most of the time, as a set. So the next thing to specify is the body. Like I said, the HTML page is divided into two parts: the head part, the body part. We've specified the head part. Now the body part. Now the body part. And don't forget, they are always what? Mostly in pairs as a set. I mean, body. So now by this we've been able to divide our page into what? Into two parts, and we've been able to lay the structure or the foundation to write our HTML. Okay, inside the head area, that's where we write few things describing our page or saying something about our page. For this level, the only thing we'll be putting inside the head area is what is the title tag is what the title. So that's the only thing we'll be putting inside the head area for now. Title. Always what? Mostly what? In pairs. So we close. We want to close. Like I told you the other time, what's the difference between closing and opening? The forward slash. You add the forward slash to the closing. So now this is just the basic or the foundation or the structure to write our HTML. So everything is already set now and everything is done. So from here now we can keep writing our HTML, and from here now we can keep seeing the function the function. Now before we go, the default of HTML, the default of HTML background is white, and the default of our text is what? The default of our text is always black. So you can decide to alter it, you can decide to change it, and you can decide to do anything to change it from the default. So that's the next thing we'll be working on, changing it from the default to another format, and giving our work a title. So now before we go, let's save our work. This is the way you save after you've worked, because if you don't save you won't see the output. So after you've done anything, even if it is just a single letter you've changed, you need to save. So after we've saved now, we can go to our folder and open our work inside a browser. Let's use Internet Explorer. What's it telling us? So if you open our work, you are giving us this is our work here. Okay, so this is our home page. So the page is there. So anytime we work, we open our browser to check our output. But once you first open it, you don't need to keep opening. What you just need to do is to come to your page and reload, refresh. That's all. Once you've saved in the HTML and you refreshed here, it will be reflected. I hope we've gained something at this tutorial. We continue our tutorial from the other side. And if you have any question, you can always ask your question. Are you getting me? If you have any question whatsoever, you can always